Welcome back to the Irish Bandit channel, or if you're new here, welcome to the channel. I, as always, am your host, the one, the only, the second Irish Bandit. We are continuing on with Sons September. If you missed the last episode, where I'm talking about my 5 favorite episodes of Season 3, you can watch it right over here, but we're just going to delve right into it, and we are talking about Season 4. What a chaotic season this was with everything that happened. The club is finally let out of jail after 14 months, so we have a 14-month time gap. Tara has already given birth to Thomas, her and Jax's son, and she's kind of raising Abel as her own. Abel's grown up quite a bit. Piney knows about the letters that Maureen Ashby left Jax that Tara read. We get introduced to one of Tig's daughters, and something horrific happens near the middle of this season that kind of changes everything for the club. So we're going to get into all that as this video progresses. As always, we are using the Sons of Anarchy official collector's edition book for all the guides to every episode that we talk about. And let's just dive right into it. My 5th favorite episode of season 4 of Sons of Anarchy is Family Recipe. The club vote is interrupted by an appearance from the Galindo cartel. Piney retreats to his cabin, but Clay follows and puts an end to Piney's threats. So yeah, we're getting into it right away with one of the biggest twists of this season, that being Clay Morrow, the president of Sons of Anarchy, killing another First Nine member, this time in Piney Winston. This was such a monumental moment and showed how low Clay will dig to get what he wants, and he did not want anybody finding out the contents of those letters that Maureen gave to Jax. But Piney, thinking he knew what he knew, unfortunately paid for it in the end. We saw that in the episodes preceding, and we'll talk about more of that when we get to that. But this was just a hard and heavy, gut-wrenching episode. Well done. It was William Lucking's final episode with Sons of Anarchy. Unfortunately, William Lucking has since passed away since the end of Sons of Anarchy, but he was just so excellent. Just this defiant nature to him to the bitter end with Clay, just the two butting heads. And you saw that from pretty much the beginning, like since season 1, when Tig murdered Opie's wife, Donna, Piney's daughter-in-law. So you know that Clay and Piney had their contentiousness, but it all came to a head in this episode. And then there's things around this with the Galindo cartel and members of the Tucson chapter of some Sons of Anarchy getting beheaded, and Chucky hiding the former president's head in a pot of chili. That was wild stuff right there. And I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty wow. But it showed how in later seasons this series can get very, very brutal, and you saw it especially with the beheading of the Sam Taz president and what Clay did to Piney at the end of this episode. Coming in at number 4 was another game-changing episode in Sons of Anarchy for this season. It is the episode Hands. Jackson Tara's taste of life away from the club is violently interrupted. Gemma and Clay have a confrontation, while Roosevelt offers Juice an option. Yeah, what happens in this episode is just, brutal and harsh, because on one hand, you have Jackson Tara just having some time away. This is the most we've seen Jax without his cut on since the very beginning of the series. So they're just with the boys, just trying to have some time away, trying to have a little fun, because at this point, Jax has already made up his mind. He's out. He is out of the club, and he's trying to get himself, Tara, Abel and Thomas out of Charming, out of danger, and just go live somewhere else, which is why he took this deal with Clay to run cocaine for the Galindo cartel. So while they're trying to have this little bit of normalcy in their life, it Tara is apparently kidnapped by. It appears that she's kidnapped by members of the cartel, when really it was. I think it was the ATF. I think, but just trying to get her to safety. But neither of them knew that. They all thought that they were cartel members. So while Tara's being kidnapped, when Tara's kidnapped, I should say, she has her hand on the edge of the van like this, and the van door slams, breaking all the bones in her hand, just totally messing it up. So then you have Tara come to realization she'll never get out of Charming. She'll always be around in one way or another. And then you have everything going on with Gemma and Clay at this point with the letters and Piney's murder. And it just leads to this moment where I really wanted to see something bad happen to Clay after he did what he did to Gemma. It was just, no way. You don't do that. No way, no how. It was heartbreaking to watch after, the first 3 seasons, seeing how much he loved Gemma, and then seeing what he did to her at the end. At the end, near the end of this episode, it was just heart-wrenching, but another great episode. Sons of Anarchy really know how to hit all the buttons when it comes to emotion. We're going to talk about that on Tuesday, because we're going into season 5. Oh God, season 5. Anyway, my third favorite episode of this season is the episode Brick. Blackmailed by Roosevelt, Juice steals a sample of Galindo's cocaine. Meanwhile, Otto demands retribution for Luann's murder, and Piney threatens Clay. So that's one thing that I'm going to delve into right now, is seeing the character arc of Juice during this season, because for the first few seasons, he was kind of a background player. He pops up every now and then for some comedic purpose, like in season 1, getting knocked out on drugs and then being put in a diaper and having a sign stapled to him or whatever. But from this point on, season 4 on to the end of the series, you saw this amazing arc with Juice and just the conflict within him when he is taken by Roosevelt, the new sheriff in Charming, because everything that happened in season 3 with Charming PD getting shut down and having the San Juan sheriffs come in. So Roosevelt really hones in on Juice at this point, because he has a secret that he thinks that will excommunicate him from the club, being the fact that Juice is actually half African American. His father is black. So, and that's one of the things that within in this club, in the Sons of Anarchy universe, one of their big things is that they're all white, which is, even they say they don't agree with it at certain points of the series. But then again, it was just that his father was, okay, maybe the fact that he was half African American, but still. We come to find out later on that nobody really cared about the fact that Juice's father was black. So, but Juice's story arc and Theo Rossi's just stellar performance from here on out until the end of the series was just phenomenal. Yeah, he could do the background stuff, he could be the funny guy and have the funny quips, but when he had to bring it, he brought it when it came to the acting portion and the pathos and the emotion. He really did a fantastic job these next 4 seasons and just built up to something incredible. And the rest of the episode is great. If this is the episode I'm thinking of, this is where Juice finds out that, or Miles finds out that Juice took the brick of cocaine and and Juice straight up just unloads a clip in the dude's face and pins the thievery on him. Just wow, everything Juice had to do was heart wrenching. But this was a great episode. Let me just check my notes here. Okay, I remember what comes in at number 2. This is coming near the end of the season, and just a great episode with just a heart pounding conclusion. Coming in at number 2, Burnt and Purged Away. Opie discovers the truth about his father's death and is bent on revenge. Increasingly concerned, Clay tries to make a deal with Tara, and Otto's deal with Potter goes through. That's one thing we haven't talked about yet, as the introduction of the character Link Potter. He was just a wild card. We'll get more about this episode, but I want to take this time to talk about Potter and what a great character he was. He kind of weaved in and out between not wanting to do what's bad, but kind of doing, not liking the people who think they're good, like Hale. Like, he's dogging him at so many points in this series, in this season. It's so funny. Calling him like Mayor McCheese. And he has a great line in the finale, in the final episode, which I'll get to. I'll talk about that in the I guess I just gave away what number 1 was, but oh well. But yeah, Link Potter was just a great character. It's too bad he was only around for 1 season. Well, I mean, Ethan Zobel was only around for 1 season. I was kind of hoping we'd see more of him later on, but that story was done with at that point. But Link Potter was just an odd duck, we'll just say. And even Eli Roosevelt says that you're a strange dude, but it serves a purpose. I don't like people all that much. Just his delivery on that was fantastic. So that wasn't the line I was thinking of, but I'll let you know that one in a little bit. But yeah, this episode was holy shit worthy from the very beginning, with Opie finding out the truth about Piney's murder, that it was Clay, and then Opie confronting Clay in the clubhouse. Just the tension between him and Jax at this point, because they're best friends, like better than best friends. They're brothers, being in the same club together. But when Opie's thinking that Jax had anything to do with Piney's murder, it's like, no, Ope, I didn't know a thing about this. And then those final moments in the clubhouse when Clay is sitting at the head of the table and Opie comes in, draws his gun and just shoots him down, and didn't kill him either, because everyone else was. Jax was there, trying to going through the brain train to remember what happened in that episode. It was just wow. Just a heavy episode. This was a heavy season. Like, they all got heavy after this season, but yeah, again, great episode. Wonderful job by Ryan Hurst in this episode as well. Same with Ron Perlman. I don't talk about them enough. Ron Perlman, Ryan Hurst, William Lucking did just a fantastic job in all these episodes, especially leading up to the final episode of the season, which is my favorite episode. Of course, we're going back to season finales being my favorite episode. Now, I had a tough decision to lump to be Act 1 and to be Act 2 into one entry, or just to pick between the two of them. Because they're both full-length episodes, I decided to go with making them their separate episodes and putting To Be Act 2 as my favorite episode of Season 4. Romeo and Luis are revealed to be CIA and squash the RICO case for Sam Crow's help in bringing down the IRA. Jax takes the gavel of Sam Crow prison. There was so much going on in this episode aside from that. Like, okay, again, we have to talk about the fact that Danny Trejo was in this season, and he did a fantastic job as Romeo, the Galindo cartel boss, who's actually turned out to be CIA. So he did a fantastic job of keeping that secret this entire season. You also had everything going on with Jax and Clay. Clay's still in the hospital at this point after Opie shot him. Everything comes to light about what Clay did to Gemma. With, a couple episodes before that, when Tig found out what Clay did to Gemma, and Tig loved Gemma. Tig turns in his Sergeant-at-Arms patch. So you see everybody just kind of shifting away from Clay at this point. And this is the episode where Jax takes the president's patch from Clay by force. Like, it's not even a vote, He goes in, puts Clay's cut down on his bed, because Gemma and Tara wanted Clay dead. You can probably tell why Gemma wanted Clay dead, because of what he did to her. But with everything that happened with Opie, but with Piney, so Jax wasn't going to kill Clay. No way, no how. The worst thing he could do to him is take his president's patch from him. And that final image of Jax sitting at the head of the table, everyone else coming in, sitting down, and Tara there right behind him, is one of those lasting images. And like I said, I think Potter had one of the great moments of this episode when Jacob Hale is trying to have this zoning commission meeting, I think it was, where he was trying to get some land through this scheme that had been cooked up for a long time. Potter comes walking in with all these sex toys, plopping them down on the table. And yeah, this is who Jacob Hale got to invest for his little rich person utopia. And when Hale goes to confront him, he just turns and says, "I don't like you." And the good guys need a win. It's one of those things where everyone thinks they're the good guy in their own story, but in this case, I think Potter was a little better than most. But I kind of dug him. I dug his style. He was kind of kooky, kind of weird, kind of out there. But I kind of dug him. But season 4 of Sons of Anarchy, to wrap things up, was a great episode, and it all came to a head in to be part 2, my favorite episode. But what did you think of season 4 of Sons of Anarchy? Let me know in the comments section down below. I'd really love to read your thoughts on this one. While you're down there, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. I'd really appreciate that. In the description, you're going to see all the ways you can support this channel. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, Reddit, and now Threads. You can get your Irish Bandit merchandise from my Irish Bandit shop on redbubble.com. You can get your copy of my novel Shade Falling on Amazon. You can get that through either Kindle e-reader or on paperback. And you can buy me a coffee, where right now I have a goal set up where I want to get some Elgato gear for my PC. You can help make that happen in the link down below. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. If you're already subscribed, tap the bell and be notified whenever a brand new video goes live. Tomorrow is Friday, which means it's Friday Fantasy, and I'm back with more Final Fantasy VII Remake. We are still going through the slums of Midgard, just helping people along the way before we can finally get to Shinra HQ and save Aerith. And then we're back Monday with more Tell Me Why. On Tuesday, it is going to be Season 5. We're talking about my 5 favorite episodes of Season 5. We are near the end of BioShock, so next Tuesday could very well be the final episode of that. Stay tuned for more on that one. And then Wednesday, we are talking about Season 6. We're almost coming to an end. We're at the halfway point now of the season of Sun September, actually, with this episode. But we'll get into all that another time. And then it's right back here Friday with more Friday Fantasy and Final Fantasy VII. So until then, have a great rest of the week, and I will see you tomorrow for Final Fantasy VII.